Jill, and this is Jill for Today. It's the holiday season, and we are having friends over. We're going to be entertaining. They are vegan friends, and I said I'm going to kind of reach out and find some recipes that are different. So that's what I've done. I'm going to be making a pate, a vegan pate, and I will give credit to the person who I got this recipe from. I'll put some information down below for you so you can link to her her Pinterest account. But why don't you come on down and I'm going to show you what the ingredients are. Okay, it's really kind of a really easy ingredient recipe. We've got a red pepper and a carrot, a small eggplant, a whole head of garlic. We're talking business now. Some walnuts, some capers, of course salt and pepper, a can of garbanzo beans, some sun-dried tomatoes. Now these aren't the ones that are in oil. These are the sun-dried. In fact, I will take one out right now so you can see it. See there, it's a very rubbery, and we're going to be boiling these in water. So we're going to do that. Some onion powder, some cayenne, some olive oil, and that is the ingredient list. So really it's all a lot of things that, you know, are so easy to come by, and maybe you even have them in your kitchen as we speak. So I'm going to get my oven going at 375, and I will bring you back and we will get started on this recipe. See you soon. Alrighty, I have got some vegetables cut up, the nice vegetables that I had shown you. So come on down and I'll show you what we're going to do. These are all cut in approximately 1-inch size cubes because you want even cooking. I've got the carrots, the eggplant, and the red pepper, and I'm going to put a little olive oil, not a lot, just a little drizzle. Come on, there we go. And then some salt and pepper. I'm using my Malden flake salt. It has such a nice flavor. A little bit of that. And then I'll put some pepper in here. And I'm going to just kind of mush them up. Get some of that olive oil all over them. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit, just to coat them. All right, I'm going to now flatten those out. The director's not real fond of eggplant. In fact, I'll say he thinks he doesn't like eggplant. Is that right?
I like it if it's sliced in an eggplant parmesan, but that's not vegan, and I'm just not a big fan of the consistency of it.
Well, I'm hoping that this pate will make you a convert. All right, and then what I'm going to do with this garlic, and you know what, I always say this, wash all your vegetables off. You know, when you think about, when you go into a grocery store and you start feeling oranges and you know, avocados and all that, think of how many other hands have been on those items. I even peel this down so you've got all that outer, so we just got an outer layer off. You can't really wash a garlic. And I'm just going to cut that end off so it exposes those little garlic cloves in there, because this is going to be roasted as well. And I'm just going to peel a little of that off so it's exposed. And again, I'm going to give it just a kiss of olive oil. Okay, and a little salt and pepper. And I'm going to wrap this all up. It's a nice little packet. And that is going to go on my cookie sheet, and it's going to go in the oven. So I am going to put this in a 375-degree oven, and it's going to roast probably about 35 minutes. It wants to be real tender. We need to have those carrots and the peppers and all of that tender, and the garlic will roast in that foil, so it'll be real soft, and we'll squeeze it out of those little, you know, garlic shells. Anyway, when this is done, I'm going to let them cool completely, and we'll come back and we'll start the next step. Okay, I've got everything ready to go in my food processor, so I'm going to bring you down. Here are these wonderful roasted vegetables there in there, and I'm going to add the garbanzo beans and the walnuts and the sun-dried tomatoes and the capers. And then I'm going to also add my garlic that I roasted. I roasted that and I put it in the oven, you remember, and I pulled out all the little cloves. That was about 10 cloves I was able to get out of that. So I'm going to add a little more pepper. Now the one thing I'm not going to add is salt, because I tasted those sun-dried tomatoes and they were salty. So I'm not going to add any more salt until we taste this. And we're going to give us a few shakes of cayenne just to kick it up a notch. Here we go. Maybe that might be, I don't think it's probably even an eighth, but a teaspoon. I might even taste it and decide to kick it up again. Here's some onion powder. And we are ready to rock and roll. And I can see I almost am ready to lose my battery on my food processor, or excuse me, on my camera. So let's get going here. All right, let's take a taste of this. It's nicely pureed. Oh wow. That is good. That is good. Doesn't need any more salt either. So I'm going to put this in the fridge and we're going to get it good and cold, and then we're going to try this out and see how the director likes it. Ooh, I got that cayenne in there too. It's good. All right, we will be back when we're ready to taste it. Are you ready to try this?
I don't think so.
Now, I know that it has eggplant in it. You
Yes.
know it has eggplant in it.
Yes, and that scares me.
But try to be open-minded. It smells...
Like I've just had brain surgery, or no? On the plus side of it, it looks a lot like black bean dip or brown bean dip.
Oh,
darker.
a kind of bit, like a bean dip.
But I know what's lurking inside.
All right, well, let's go for it, huh? You know what this reminds me of? Excuse me.
Eggplant. It's spicy.
You know that bean and carrot pate I make, which I'll leave a link to up there. This tastes very much like that dip.
It's quite good, really.
It really is very good. Very spicy. Of course, I put the cayenne in there. They didn't have cayenne, and I said, this needs cayenne. Anyway, I think it does taste a lot like that. It's good, very good. You don't mind the eggplant?
I think I taste the eggplant, but it's not,
Oh, really?
it's not a negative for me. It's quite good.
You know, I know this sounds weird. It almost has kind of a fall. No, I don't know why I thought that. I said it's kind of got a autumny. I think maybe it's just that it's warm and it's. No.
Of course, I will say, it's on French bread, so of course I'm going to like it.
It's very good. Very good.
I like it.
Very much. You know, I think it is. So it's a little dry.
I love the spice. It is a little dry. I love the spiciness of it.
Very much.
Ooh.
Do you think Tracy and John are going to like it? I do too.
Yeah. Is there anything we could do to
Well, I can moisten it with a little broth. Something. Is that what you meant, or what kind of
a little
moisten
olive
it?
oil or something?
Yeah, I think it gives a little moisture.
Yeah,
I think
do
so.
too, but it's very good.
Delicious. All right. Well, okay, that's
a hit.
It's
yeah.
a hit. It's a
For me
hit.
to eat something with eggplant on it and give it a thumbs up, that's,
Big.
yeah,
It's
that
huge.
speaks volumes.
All right, we're done here.
We are.
Thanks a lot for watching. Tell your friends. Subscribe.
Eat eggplant.
Eat egg. Who knew?
What can
He
I
says
say?
eat eggplant. All right, everybody. Take care. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so a little Monday morning quarterbacking on the recipe. It's a good recipe, and the fact that the director ate eggplant Well, it tells you it's a good recipe, but the eggplant was kind of hid in there. It's there, but you couldn't really tell. So let me go down a few of the ingredients that I would add, or I did add, and things that I might change up a little bit. I think it definitely needed cayenne. If you do not like spicy food, don't add it. But if you like spice, I added, after all was said and done, about a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. And it was just enough to give it some zip, but it wasn't like too hot. So I think that was a good one. I also added 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. And I think, again, it was just enough to give it a little, a little something extra. I think that the red pepper was too much. I think 1/2 of red pepper would have been perfect. I think it just overshadowed just a little bit. So I would change that. You could use white beans. I don't think the garbanzo beans made that big of an influence on the recipe. Certainly garbanzo beans are good, but a good white bean, a cannellini bean or a navy bean would have been fine. I highly recommend that eggplant be peeled. It was terrible to try to break that peel down in the food processor. It took quite a while, and it's still, you could see the peeling of the eggplant, and I just think it should be peeled. So peel it before it gets baked, cut up and baked. I highly recommend that, because it took way too long. I kept beating and beating and beating, and finally, it broke down. I think that you needed broth and some olive oil. It was terribly dry. So I added probably 1/8 to a 1/4 cup of, well, 1/4 cup of water, I think, was probably what I added. Then I added 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Now, if it's still not creamy enough for you, add a little more water. I don't know whether enough oil, more oil would have made that big of a difference, but I added a good 3 tablespoons of olive oil and a good 1/4 cup of water. So put that in there, puree it, and see if it's loosening up for you. And then I suggest you refrigerate it for a few hours. At least we've refrigerated it maybe 4 or 5 hours. Get it good and cold, and then actually bring it out a little bit to room temperature before you serve it. It needed a little bit of warming up to make it, to me, a nice spreading, flavor-filled pate. I think it's a great recipe. I'll put the original recipe down there, and I don't recall the woman's name at the moment, but I'll put you a link to her Pinterest account. I think my recipe's better, but hers, I want to give her credit, and because I hadn't seen a recipe like this before. All right, that's the Monday Morning Quarterback, the analysis of what I would have changed with the recipe and what we did like about it. Our friends really liked it. I actually, before I go, I made crostini to go with it. I took a small baguette of French bread, cut it up into about 1/4-inch slices, little tiny bit of olive oil on both sides, which you could take, you don't have to do that, and then toast it in the oven, and then bring them out, and boy, those were great with that dip. Very festive too, more festive than crackers or just straight French bread, but certainly works great on crackers. And it was Thanksgiving, wanted it a little bit more special. Okay, everybody, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. Tell your friends, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.